Hey, everybody. Sorry, I paused. I heard Steve in there. Um, I'm not sure what he wants. I hear him coming through the. I'm not. What do you need, Steve?
McAllister's.
Yeah. What? All right, guys. I'm gonna have to pause this
No, you
because.
don't. I'm just.
So sorry, guys. I didn't know if Steve wanted to talk to me about something or what he wanted.
I'm back.
I think he's just trying to aggravate me completely because I told him I couldn't concentrate
I'm
with
okay.
somebody.
Look, I'm doing that.
Steve, come
All right.
on.
I'm leaving.
I mean, I told him he could be on this if he wanted to talk about Dazed and Confused, but I don't think he
I don't
wants
have
to
no
talk.
strength. I didn't have dinner, so I'm not.
Steve,
Oh, it's all right. I'm just kidding.
I don't want y'all to think I'm a bad wife or anything that I don't feed
I'm
Steve.
back.
Steve, come on.
I'm sorry. I'm leaving. I promise. You want that door open?
Yes, for a little while till it gets dark. Oh my gosh, so sorry, guys.
I'm sorry too.
He'll probably open the door again and say he's back.
It won't be as funny anymore.
But he's been doing that to me all day long. All you guys got to do is ask Darren about the show, the Eurocult show we did this morning. Uh,
I'm sorry.
he was doing that child thing of copying
All things.
the last few things I would say while I was talking. Excuse me, about the movie.
I'm back.
Steve. Sorry, guys. Probably gonna have to do some editing or something to this afterwards because I don't usually have this many interruptions. Hey, Texas, you say he's dazed and confused. Well, he's something. I know that. But I got me some McAllisters earlier, and he acts like his feelings are hurt because I didn't get him anything. And I would have asked him, but when somebody tells me earlier that they're probably not going to eat anything for dinner, I take them at their word on that, and I didn't offer to get him anything. And Steve,
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Okay. It's hard for me. I'm having an episode.
he's gonna have worse than an episode if he don't stop. He just woke up from a nap, and now he's just, he says he's having a manic episode, but whatever. I want him to be able to get, have fun and get through this um, watch along so that I could prepare a little bit for the one later that I'm doing with the Dead Pit Boys on prom night. Yes, Texas, I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I probably forget and all this confusion and things that if anyone does have Amazon Prime, you can watch Dazed and Confused from there. I was unable to find like a free link, but I did discover that it was on Amazon Prime. So I'm very glad that Texas brought that up. I'm not sure how many we're going to have in here tonight. We've got about 3 right now. I do have the link in case anybody wants to join me live on the stream tonight. Don't have to, but usually it's a little less boring if somebody else is on here on the stream with me. I am trying to get woke up. I took a nap earlier, actually thinking that it would help me out a little bit because I was planning on doing, 2 watch alongs or 2 commentaries or whatever tonight. But I think it just made me all more fuzzy headed and stuff. So I'm drinking caffeine and I've got one of those energy drinks back here, one of those Alani energy drinks. I do have my popcorn tonight, and I also have a BLT or a half BLT that I'm eating here. So hopefully I will get kind of more energized as this goes along. So I guess I probably should, actually give you guys a reminder of the upcoming, watch alongs, drive-in movie nights, and all that, in case there's somebody in here tonight that hasn't been on some of the previous streams to hear me talk about these things, because I do have the entire month of June planned out. And I swear there's something on my glasses again. Oh. I honestly did not envision myself being this tired this early in the evening. So I may be utterly slap happy by 10 p.m. tonight when I'm on there with the Dead Pit guys. But, and this is another thing. It was kind of chilly in the house a little bit earlier, and now I'm burning up. So I just cannot get, I can't get anything right. And so that's just me bitching and moaning about stuff. May end up having to take my hat off about halfway through again, because I don't know why, but the hat has been bothering me lately when I try to wear it the whole time. Hey, Darren. When I try to wear it the whole time, because for some odd reason, I don't know if I need to tighten it up or something, but it just keeps sliding down over my face till it's right about there, and I keep pushing it up and it just will not stay for the life of me. And then I get smears on my glasses, the hair comes down on my forehead, and everything just aggravates the shit out of me. So don't know what it is. Sorry for my face looking terrible with the blemishes. I am out of my makeup that covers all that stuff up. Do have eyeshadow on, trying to look halfway decent. Again, I'm not on here to try to impress anybody with my looks or anything, but I do hate to see myself on camera and see all these blemishes and things like that. I usually like to keep those covered up. I also do have my Echo Buds all charged up tonight in case I want to wear my hat when I'm on the Dead Pit fan commentary for prom night tonight. So anyway, sorry guys, just gonna have to take the hat off for now. You know, when your hair's clean, sometimes hats will not stay put. They will not. Um, and I don't know. Again, I don't know why it's bothering me so, but it seems to have been bothering me lately. Darren, you say I'm always pulling my cap up on camera. Yeah, I think pretty much everybody does if they've got some kind of hat on. But after a while, I mean, I love my hat. I finally got it designed the way I want and stuff like that. And I do realize again that that's become part of my brand or whatever, is to have the Evil Dead chick hat on. Um, but I don't know. I'm just having real problems with it lately with wearing it the whole time I'm on here. So if y'all can bear with me, that will be great. Um, so anyway, let's get through. Let's get through these upcoming watch alongs that I'm going to have, because I want to get this one started a little bit earlier, like I said, so I can have a little bit of space of time between this one and the 10 p.m. Fan commentary. All right, so uh, um, June 3rd is Killer Workout, followed on June 4th by Death Ball. And again, these are watch alongs. June 10th, a few days after my birthday, which is June 6th, I will be doing watch along for Bloody Birthday, followed on June 11th with Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Hey, Blair. June 17th will be The Stepfather, the original Stepfather, starring Terry O'Quinn, in honor of the impending Father's Day celebration. June 18th, which is actually Father's Day, will be the John Cusack joint, High Fidelity. June 24th will be Just Before Dawn, followed on June 25th by the very hilarious, in my opinion, Caddyshack. Okay, so the upcoming drive-in movie nights. Friday, June 2nd will be Joe Bob Appreciation Night. We will all be watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, by the way, and the original Evil Dead. Friday, June 9th will be the Devil Made Me Do It night. We will all be watching The Exorcist and The Omen. And Friday, June 16th will be Cannibal Night, and we will be watching Cannibal Ferox and Cannibal Holocaust, both in my household, the animal cruelty free versions. Okay, so those are all the watch alongs, drive in movie nights coming up. And once again, if the drive in movie nights prove to be pretty successful, I will continue them, but more than likely not on Fridays once the last drive-in comes back off of the hiatus, because I don't want, there's no way I can compete with them, right? So don't really, I mean, I can talk a little bit about something or other on the Daily Grindhouse. And I guess I'll go ahead and get that started. We'll go ahead and get this intro started. So let's go on with that. All right. Sorry, I was trying to take a couple of bites of that BLT before the intro was up. And what in the heck? Hold on, guys. Let me check something here. Because it looked like this damn thing switched to Wi-Fi, or just Real briefly, it switched to Wi-Fi. I don't know why it did that. I don't know. Sometimes I think StreamYard does its own thing. So hopefully there wasn't a glitch in there. Oh, here we go again. We're stuck getting into my teeth. And that's the worst thing you can have when you get on camera to kind of smile a little bit and have black shit and stuff all over your teeth. Um, yes, exactly, Blair. Party at the Moon Tower. We are going to have a party tonight, hopefully. Um, so, for those of you that didn't see the pictures that I put on Facebook, didn't hear me talking about this before, and I really hope that people don't take this the wrong way. I explained or tried to explain last night that there could be no replacement for my animals, my pets that have passed away, and that is certainly not what I am attempting to do. I would never do anything like that. But I know in my heart that there's a lot of still homeless animals out there and they deserve to have a home. And although I can't give all of them a home or it would become a hoarding situation at the Benningfield household, and we don't want that. Hey, 71. Um, I have decided to open my heart and my home once again to another fur baby. For those of you in the know, we just lost our baby Brandon. Brandon was about 16, 17 years old. We figure we're not sure of his exact age because he was a rescue. Um, but he has been not in the best of health and not best mobility wise for a little while now. And so this past Wednesday, unfortunately, early in the afternoon, he passed away. I'm thankful that I was here with him, that I was working from home, and it wasn't one of those things where both Steve and I were working outside the home and we came home and found him passed away. I was checking on him periodically throughout the day. He was not doing well Wednesday at all. In fact, it was like he was in a semi coma. He only raised up his head one time that day. There were other things going on. I'm not going into complete details. I don't know if he was having seizures or there. I talked to my mom, and I'm not trying to gross anybody out or make anybody think about deaths of family members or you know your own fur baby deaths or deaths of other animals or anything like that. But my mom did tell me that sometimes when people pass away, um, this I'm trying to explain it where it's not doesn't sound quite as gruesome as it actually is, but it's hard. Okay, um, Brandon had about 3 to 4 spells that day that he passed, where stuff was coming out of his mouth that appeared to be like a mucousy, milky substance. And I would go in there and I would wet a rag, have a warm rag, and I would wipe him off. And he was not awake during any of this stuff, but I would clean him up. Then I'd go back and take a few more phone calls, and I'd come back, and sometimes he would have done it again, and it was all over the side of his face and his ear. And I mean, that was a pretty big red flag for me. But my mom, and talking to my mom, she says sometimes people do that as well. Um, so I won't keep going on and on about that. But the truth of the matter was, Brandon was not doing well. And 71, you're saying he had a stroke, which I could definitely believe that. Um, and yeah, although I would have liked to have taken Brandon to the vet, I just don't think his poor little body at that time would have taken another vet visit. I just think that it was his time. And I was stuck here by myself. I don't drive. I mean, I could have ran over to the neighbors. But guys, honestly, I don't think Brandon suffered through any of that because he was not alert. He was not awake. Um, and I've seen dogs have strokes before. I've had older dogs that have had strokes, and they got better. But they weren't as old as Brandon. They didn't have as many issues as Brandon ended up having. And I just at that point in time, I don't think anything was going to help him come out of it. Um, but yeah, 71. I could fully believe that he very well. That's a distinct possibility that he had a stroke. He was very old. And like I said, his health had been declining steadily for a little bit now. Um, Thank you, Darren. You say you know what I'm trying to say. So anyway, to get past that, um, I Steve says I need to not have this all the time where I feel like I have a hole in my heart every time an animal passes. And I do that, but I also know that as I feel like with everybody, and it's okay if you don't believe in God or believe in a higher power or anything like that. But I believe God put me here not to hoard animals, not to just keep getting a bunch of animals, but I feel like He has called upon me to, when I can, to help another animal in need. And I feel like I'm being called upon again to do this. And n- not only am I kind of easing my pain, but I'm also helping another dog. I'm welcoming them into our home. I'm going to give them love and as much care and love and all of that as I possibly can. So, yes, Darren, that is correct. That really is the only solace that Steve and I can have in this whole thing. Sounds like it was a blessing. He's not suffering anymore, and he had a good life. I feel like he had a good foster mother that took care of him in the interim between us getting him and Brandon. Brandon had a little bit of a rough start. Sammy had a rough start too. Sammy was in a hoarding situation that the rescue got him out of. Brandon, I don't know what his life was like before he ended up on the streets. Um, but it probably wasn't good. But in any event, he ended up on the streets, and this is what we were told by the rescue. And then he was sent to a kill shelter. So he very well could have died in that shelter. But thankfully, the Basset Rescue of Kentuckiana rescued him. And right about the time that we lost Sam, our first Basset hound, um, I waited a little while and then I was like, you know, I think Sam would want us to get another dog. And so I started looking and found Brandon. Well, actually I found Elliot first. Elliot was another white basset hound with the light brownish spots. Similar to how Brandon looked when we got him. But Elliot, his foster, he was what you call a foster fail, and that's a happy thing because it's primarily or traditionally when a foster family decides that they don't want to adopt out the dog that they're fostering, that they want to adopt it, him or her. And so that was Elliot's case, and he got his foster family adopted him. So then I was still looking and I saw Brandon, and they had just taken Brandon for a photography shoot. And there's video of him and also pictures. And I just absolutely fell in love with that dog. So, filled out an application, put that I was interested in Brandon. They got everything set up. We went uh, to meet Brandon and his foster, Julie, in Madison, Indiana. And the rest is history, pretty much. We took Brandon home and we had him for 7 years after that. Hey, Blissful. So I promise I'm going to get off this train of thought here, guys. However, we are, or I have been contacted again by the Basset Rescue of Kentucky, Anna, and they knew about Brandon because we got Brandon from them, and they said they were very sorry to hear about Brandon. And wanted to know if we'd be interested in another Basset Hound. So uh, I thought I had, yeah. So I wanted to show you some new pictures that Tina at the Basset Rescue sent to me. So I'm going to make this a happy part of this streams because you can get to see some cute little fur baby pictures here. So I just want to share my screen with you guys so I can show you these pictures. Okay. So there is Miss Bella. There's one picture of her. There's a more close-up picture of her. And there's another close-up picture of her. And guys, really, I am in love once again. Here, and I will show these pictures as well. These are some early pictures that she sent me of Miss Bella riding in the car there. Her brown looks a little lighter there. I guess we'll find out for sure how exactly it looks whenever we see her. Yes, Blissful, you are exactly right. Basset hounds are so cute, and their ears are everything. Yes. Actually, Sam, our first Basset hound that passed away, originally his name was Ears before we adopted him. Oh, thank you, Blissful. We certainly think she's beautiful, and Steve's kind of slowly getting on the bandwagon with me. Sorry. There were actually three different Bassets that are going to soon be ready. One male who's less than a year old, Cooper, is ready right now. Clayton and Bella still have to have their vet visits before they can be adopted out, which I'm hoping is going to be very soon. I like the look of Clayton. He was a darker Basset Hound. However, I'm hoping that he can find maybe a home with somebody that doesn't have other pets, because what Tina told me was it's going to be an adjustment period for any of them, which I get. But I want to make as sure as I can be that whatever dog I bring into this house is going to get along with the other pets I already have. Because a while back, we had an issue where I jumped the gun and I thought I knew better. And I brought a dog into the house that it could have had disastrous effects. Okay. Because I brought a dog into our household, Phoebe. She was a female, part American Bulldog. She was about 80 something pounds, all muscle, because she was, a younger dog. And everything went smoothly for about a week here. And thank goodness I was working from home at this time. I was still working for the library, but it was during like the height of COVID. So, we were working from home. And I heard the awfulest noise coming from me and Steve's bedroom. And I thought at first the dogs were playing. And then I got into the bedroom and saw that Phoebe had Sammy pinned down. She had chewed a hole in his side. He was screaming. I thought I was going to pull her off and he was going to be dead. That's honestly what I thought was going to happen. Reggie, who's normally a calmer dog, was going at Sammy too, because Phoebe was. He was getting all stirred up. Now, he wasn't ripping and tearing at Sammy the way she was. This was a very dangerous situation with her. Reggie was kind of nipping and going back. She was tearing into him and doing this number. And when a dog does that, usually their intent is to kill. And I was damn lucky that she didn't get a hold of his throat, that she got a hold of his side rather than his throat, or he probably would have been dead. Very frightening experience. And a warning to you guys, don't do what I did. Don't think that you know better than the rescue that is adopting these dogs out. Just don't, because I made a terrible mistake. It was bad for Sammy. I mean, he healed up. We got him all healed up. He's right as rain now and everything. But not only was it a bad experience for him, it was also a bad experience for Phoebe because we had to send Phoebe back. And it broke my heart. But I could not risk her attacking one or more of the other dogs and possibly killing them. And so if you're ever in the market for a dog, and most adoptions go smoothly, I'm not wanting to scare anybody away from adopting or rescuing. Just be very careful. And if the agency tells you that this dog should be an only pet in the household, listen, please. If they tell you that the dog has had a bite history, listen, please. Phoebe was a dog that they couldn't even bring her to a PetSmart or anything like that to have people look at her because she had a bite history. She had a history of attacking another dog. However, they did tell me, and I'm not putting the blame on them in any way, shape, or form. They did tell me that the other dog attacked her first. But again, I don't know what went on in that bedroom, what transpired in that bedroom before I was able to get in there. I don't know if they were fighting over food and Sammy snapped at her and then she went to town on him, or what happened. However, it has made me gun shy now, and so I am very, very careful about what other animals I bring into my home. I'm not just, oh, great, we'll get another dog. I really have to think about it and ask questions and all of that. So that was a question I asked Tina when she sent me pictures of the 3 different dogs. I said, how are the males with other dogs? And she told me that Cooper, because he's so young, the older dogs in the foster family kind of try to stay away from Cooper because he kind of gets on their nerves. And Clayton is fearful of all dogs. So I wasn't sure how that would work out. And I didn't know if Cooper would aggravate my other dogs. So in talking more about it with Steve, Steve was like, well, I think we should go with the female. So that kind of helped us make a decision between the 3 dogs. And so we're going with Bella. I'll keep you guys in the know about how that's progressing. I'm sure I'll take a ton of pictures if everything goes well and we get to bring her home. But anyway, that's that's about all I wanted to talk about during the daily grindhouse. And I'm going to look through these few chat messages here, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the movie. 71, you say, Blissful, I made chocolate pudding. It looks like the jello isn't a lost cause because I think I added too little water or too much. LOL. Blissful says, at least it isn't on your ceiling. That is right. Thank you, Blissful, for saying she's beautiful. Texas says, oh no, about the jello. I remember making some when I was a kid. It turned frozen instead of jelly. Blissful, you say, Texas, you discovered pudding pops before they were a trend. Texas, you said, Blissful, I had no idea what was going on. It was like Kool-Aid with a layer of ice on top. Thank you, Texas. Texas says, everyone, please hit the like and subscribe. Gracias and por favor. Yes, that's exactly right, Blissful. I can accessorize Bella. Put little bows on her ears and all that jazz. Hopefully she will appreciate that. Tina from the Basset Rescue did tell me that I've never heard of Basset hounds guarding chickens. But the reason why Bella is up for adoption is she was a chicken guard dog. And so when the family got rid of chickens, they had unfortunately had no need for Bella. And now poor Bella doesn't have a home, which makes me sad, but it also makes me happy that we're going to get another chance to give another Basset Hound a home. So, moving onward and upward here. Everybody ready to watch Dazed and Confused tonight? We it looks like we've got 7 people in here tonight. Gonna have to get this thing started here soon because this is about an hour 42 minutes. Not super long. But like I said, I wanted to have a little space of time before I actually get ready for the 10 p.m. Eastern time fan commentary for prom night with the Dead Pit Boys. Okay. So, if everybody that's watching Dazed and Confused tonight can let me know when you're all queued up, I myself am queued up at the beginning shot of the Universal logo coming up. I'm watching the Criterion Blu-ray, by the way. I am 22 seconds in on that Blu-ray. Those of you that are watching on Prime might be slightly different, but hopefully you can get it synced up. Anybody that's watching any other versions of it, hopefully you can get it synced up with me as well. Again, you can watch this on Prime if you have Amazon Prime. As Texas, bless you, Texas, for reminding me about that again. Oh goodness, I'm gonna give it. Sorry for yawning, guys. I don't know why. I've been super tired this evening, and I took a nap earlier, but it didn't seem to help. So everybody that's watching this tonight, just let me know when you get queued up and ready to go, and then we will start soon after this. I'm going to take a couple of bites of my... It's amazing how messy a dang half BLT can be. Leslie, you say I'll start watching a few. It's calmed down since an hour ago. LOL. I'm actually going to step away and go grab me a napkin before I make a complete mess of myself. So hopefully Texas is all queued up and ready to go, because I know he did find it on Prime. I'm telling you, maybe I shouldn't have got this spring mix. See all that that's on this BLT? I hear Steve again. So, it is now 7:44. I am not hearing anybody screaming at me to not get this movie started. So, I'm going to go ahead and do the countdown. Anybody wants to join in and join me live on the stream at any point in time, except it being a couple minutes or a few seconds before the movie ends, I'll be glad to add you. If you want to click on the link and join or come in backstage, I will add you. Now that I've been watching these movies on the same screen as the chat, I can see, when people jump in backstage. So, Bliss, what you say in search of Steve? Well, he was in the kitchen. I could hear him in the kitchen back there, but he may have went back to lay down. So we'll go ahead. Oh, and by the way, if you need me to put that link to join live on the stream back in the chat, please let me know and I will be happy to do so. So we're going to do the 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then we're going to go ahead and start watching this movie. So 3, 2, 1, press play. I'm going to try to get this eat. So I'm not making a total mess all the time. Now, I know that Darren told me earlier when we were doing the Eurocult show that he doesn't think he's ever seen Dazed and Confused. And there might be some more of you in here in the chat that have not seen this. For any of you that have your sound going a little bit, you will hear Sweet Emotion playing. This does have one hell of a soundtrack on it, by the way. And we're getting the opening shot of Kevin Pickford, played by Sean Phillips, and his girlfriend, played by Mila Jovovich there, who's making a joint, who's rolling a joint there. The behind the scenes story about Mila Jovovich and Sean Phillips is that they ran off to get married, and I think she was 16 at the time, so definitely underage. But her father nixed that and stepped in, and the marriage got annulled. But that was the story. There's Sasha Jensen as well. For those of you that, of course, have seen Halloween 4, you have seen him on that. There was Giovanni Ribisi's sister there, the redhead that you just saw. Actually, we're seeing a lot of, even if they hadn't been big names back when this movie was made in 1993, they're definitely bigger or more well-known now. This was filmed in Austin, Texas, by the way, I believe. Takes place on the last day of school in 1976. And there's Jason London there. Another behind the scenes story about concerning Jason London and Sean Phillips is that they did not get along. Evidently on the set, even coming to blows at one time. I don't know what this was concerning, but they're supposed to be playing good friends. There's Rory Cochrane there playing Slater, the ultimate pothead, basically. Even though there's, drugs and alcohol and a lot of, other, adult, I guess, activities, there's still an innocence to me. And maybe it's because I did not grow up during this time period. Perhaps those of you that did can shed a little more light on it. But to me, there seems like a lot, quite a bit of innocence to this time period that is evidently reflected in this movie. And you guys can feel free to disagree with me on this. Perhaps I need to talk to my parents about it because my parents graduated from high school in 1974, which would have been 2 years before this movie supposedly takes place. Actually, I was born in 1976 when my mom was 19 years old. I always found this scene so hilarious because Tony is telling Mike about a dream he had about he's getting it on with a woman that has a perfect female body. And then he says, but the head of Abraham Lincoln. I just always found that just so hilarious. And I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing in some high schools this was a thing. Again, maybe you guys can shed a little light on this. Some of you guys that are a little older than me. I never remember in high school any kind of hazing going on with paddles and stuff like that. You saw Benny a little bit earlier in woodshop making a paddle. He was working on his paddle. What they are planning to do is paddle the incoming freshman boys um, over the summer. And again, that was not a thing when I was in high school. That's not a thing that when I was transitioning from middle school to high school. So you guys feel free to share in the chat, or some of you can come on live on the stream and share any stories that you have about this. Perhaps this was a thing back in the 70s. Perhaps this was a thing, even into the 80s and 90s or beyond in other places. Maybe it was just something that happened in Texas. I don't know. 71, you say, I don't think they did that. It's just movie creation. And, a lot of that kind of stuff is possible too. Anybody remember those stands that had construction paper and the thinner colored paper on them? I do remember those things when I was a kid. It's traditionally what they pulled off to make those bulletin boards. Yes, 71 brings up a very good point. That the 70s were a dangerous time with hitchhiking and a lot of drugs. Yeah, hitchhiking was a big thing then, which is unfortunately really dangerous. So the girls were listing all the Gilligan's Island episodes a little earlier, and the one girl is saying, "You guys were listing all the Gilligan's Island episodes without a hint of irony," and Jody there, who's talking it up with the boys, didn't understand, and Dina, the other girl, said, "What the hell are you talking about, girl?" And she says, "Gilligan's Island is the male pornographic fantasy," and they go into this whole thing about how there's a sexy seductress, can't even talk, sexy seductress type, and healthy next door girl with the nice butt. So she says that the guys have the Madonna and the whore. They have it all, and the ladies don't get anything. To which Jody said, "Ah, the professor is sexy." So Texas was a little bit of a youngin at this point in time. You said this took place when I was in fifth grade, starting junior high in the fall of '76. The other thing that the soon to be senior girls do to the soon to be freshman girls is they do their own sort of hazing where they don't paddle them, but it's basically humiliation because what they do is, make them lay out on the probably hot concrete in the parking lot. They put ketchup, mustard, looks like oatmeal, all kinds of food products, and smear them all over their hair, their clothes. They put dog collars and leashes on them, make them go up to some of the soon to be senior boys and say, "Will you marry me?" And of course, the thing is, they go back and forth. The boys say, "Will you do for me, huh?" And one of the girls goes up to Sasha Jensen's character and says, "Will you marry me?" And he says, "What do you do for me, huh?" And she says, "Anything you want." He said, "Anything I want?" And she says, "Anything." And he tells her to, and we're going to see this soon. I probably shouldn't give it away, but he tells her to go like that, and she does. And he says, "Do you spit or swallow?" And then you're talking about a girl that, I'm not saying some of these girls didn't know what was going on, but they were a little bit naive at that point in time. And she just says, "Anything you want." And to which the girl that Sasha Jensen's character likes says, "You're an asshole." And she just tells the girl to come on. And they just do various things to the girls. Texas, you say it was odd because all the eighth graders seemed older and high schoolers seemed even older back in the day. Yeah, exactly. Listen, you say, but the sexy men of Led Zepp. So somebody keeps giving Pink, played by Jason London, this paper that he's supposed to sign before next fall, saying that he won't, drink or do any illegal drugs and stuff like that. And he keeps refusing. So here we have a very young Ben Affleck there playing O'Banion, who is pretty much just the ultimate asshole. So Sasha Jensen's character of Dawn is telling Pink that he basically needs to shrug it off. Just sign the paper, don't think about it anymore. But Pink is thinking in terms of principles. He's not going to sign this thing. Yes, Blair, exactly. He was in Halloween 4. Playing Brady. So there on the far right is Wiley Wiggins, who plays Mitch Kramer, the younger brother to Jody, who we saw earlier. So now they're going to go up to their teacher, hoping that they can get out early because the buddy of theirs in another class has been able to get the keys to his brother's car, and they want to get the hell out of Dodge so they don't get paddled leaving school. And obviously their teacher's not going to let them. And he tells a war story. So did any of you guys ever have a teacher that was just like cool like this teacher? Because I never had. I had some cool teachers. Mr. Price being one. I loved him. He was my world civ teacher. It was probably about the closest I got to a quote unquote cool teacher. But I was just wondering if you guys had any cool teacher stories. Blissful, you were 5 and 76. Yeah, you were probably, let's see. Steve was pretty young too. Steve was born in 1969. I think he was about 7. So he was a couple of years older than you, Blissful. So all these soon to be freshman boys are, like I said, they're trying to get the hell out of Dodge before these seniors get them and start paddling them. Blissful, you said my drama teacher taught me how to write plays. My English teacher was very cool. So that's good. It sounds like some of you had some cool teachers along the way. So here's another thing they're doing. They're making the girls put pacifiers in their mouth. Jody here seems a little bit tired with the whole thing. I always thought this girl was absolutely beautiful. the girl playing Sabrina there. So Carl and Mitch are planning on getting off at Carl's house, and they're going to attempt to get in Carl's house before these guys catch up with them. Like I said, Ben Affleck's character of O'Banion is the ultimate asshole. And Carl's mother is not having any of it. Texas actually, Steve and I did watch the sequel to this. Everybody wants some, and maybe I need to give it another try. But at the time that Steve and I watched it, I don't think neither he nor I was very impressed with it. Um, I don't honestly, I don't exactly know what we were expecting. I mean, um, it just didn't seem to be as fun as Dazed and Confused. But like I said, perhaps if I give it another go later on, then I will like it better. So there is not those two guys, but the girl that is making the other girls do the air raid. That is Parker Posey. Texas, you say it reminds me more of the time that it takes place in. So it's supposed to take place what in the 80s? Is that right, or am I thinking wrong? So this is where they're squirting whipped cream on these girls, putting flour on them. Now they're putting the dog collars on them. Takes you say the early 80s and it being set in Austin. So here is where he tells her to do this and then asks her, do you spit or swallow? So then Jody brings Sabrina over and says, I would like you to propose to Tony. So Tony is, he's a nice guy. He's not wanting to degrade her any more than she already is. Text you say there's a band that plays a sort of famous Austin punk band. That band actually played at a club where I had my 16th birthday. So yeah, I could definitely see how that one would probably be more nostalgic to you than this one. I think part of it's not really nostalgia because I don't remember this time period, but it's a time period that a lot of times I long for, that I wish that I had lived through. Of course, I'd be a lot older now, but yeah. This says 16. I was normal at that age, lol. So you guys see the Hitchcock's Family Plot playing, um, which Hitchcock's Family Plot did come out in 76. So now I don't know that I'd want somebody taking me through a car wash after something like that happening, because this looks really dangerous. So now Pink and Slater are there at Kevin's house, because Kevin has planned a big party. See, his parents are planning on going out of town there. They're packing up the car. They're playing dumb, saying, "Oh, is Kev going with you?" No, he's upstairs. And we're also getting the introductions, like with Sabrina and Jody here, that Jody kind of asks Sabrina if she wants to come to a big party tonight. The party that's supposed to happen at Kevin's house. So they're up there smoking some joints. And I guess Slater is always broke. And he says, "Can you spot me 10? I'll pay you like Tuesday and shit." I would have loved to have had one of those chairs too. So Kevin's dad is wanting to come in and they're having to get rid of the pot smell. And they're trying to get Slater to put the pot away. So his dad says, "Did you order some kegs of beer?" And he's like, "No." So his dad says, "There's a guy out front who says you did. And he looks out and there's a guy unloading kegs of beer. And he's like, oh shit, you know. He says, well, I'm going to go out there and see what's going on. And his dad says, yeah, think you better. And dad turns on the kids and says, you guys know anything about a party going on tonight? And they're like, no, sir. And he thinks they're full of shit. He doesn't believe them. Bliss, will you say your uncle was a teenager in the 70s? My parents were teenagers in the 70s. I've been told I have very young parents. I'll be 47 on my birthday next month, and my parents in October will be 67. So they still haven't reached 70 yet. So everybody's getting ready. The people that aren't in the know are getting ready for this party that's not going to take place at Kevin's house anymore. So, guys, y'all keep watching the Top Notch Burgers. There is, before I go away, there is, was Wooderson, played by Matthew McConaughey. This is kind of an odd look for Matthew McConaughey, too. You're going to see that a little bit later. But I am going to make a run to the restroom, and I will be right back. So y'all keep enjoying Dazed and Confused. That's what you say. I remember a lot of shag carpet, Afghans, avocado harvest gold, and burnt orange. Definitely, those were the colors, weren't they? Bliss, what you say? I have a birthday cake story, but Not so PG. So I'm getting ready to switch to popcorn here. So the boys playing ball, were doing a thing that I remember my brother doing when he was in T-ball. No matter the outcome of the game, you always, slapped hands with the other team members and said, good game, good game. So that definitely was a thing. I just happen to remember it when my brother was playing T-ball. And then it's just like the older people, wanting to talk about sports and stuff. And Pink's trying to be the good boy. It's also, by the way, 76 was the bicentennial year. Mom always tells me I was a bicentennial baby. So now the guys have got a hold of Mitch. And Mitch is going to get his paddling. These guys seem to be having way too much fun doing this. And you hear No More Mr. Nice Guy by Alice Cooper in the background as well. But so you said that's cool. Dinosaur's my younger cousin. Bliss would say Alice Cooper's on blast in this house, one of my mom's favorites. So Pink is another one that you can tell Pink's really not into this nearly as much as the other guys. So he just merely pats Mitch on the ass with the paddle. So then you see basically the same kind of friend relationship emerging between Pink and Mitch that you did Jody and Sabrina. So they're having a discussion about O'Banion, and Mitch is basically, but he's a dick, right? And Pink says, yeah, he's pretty much a joke. So now Pink is telling his story about when he was a freshman and they, he said it was vicious. But he says it's better if you get a bunch all at once because after about 10 licks, your ass gets so numb it doesn't matter anyway. And then he said, but he had a lot of cool seniors that took him out later and got him drunk, stuff like that. And so I think he wants to do kind of the same thing with Mitch. So he says, since the party's not going on, some of me and some of the other guys will probably just end up riding around. Should we come by and pick you up? Yeah, I'm gonna get the song "Low Rider" playing. So you girls will probably understand this here as saying where there's a girl usually that may hang out with multiple groups of girls, and each group that she talks about the other group of girls. So Mike's talking about he's decided he doesn't want to go to law school now. And there's a little joke. He's like, well, you don't want to go to law school. What do you want to do? He says, I want to dance. But what you say it's odd. Most of my friends since senior year of high school have been in our guys. Well, it's not really odd, blissful, and there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, I have always got along better with boys than I do girls. It's not that I don't have friends that are women, but traditionally I just found it more fun to hang out with guys over the years. So here's Wooderson, again played by Matthew McConaughey, and he's always after the ladies. And he's a guy that's been out of high school for a few years. But he brings up a line here in a little bit that he says, these high school girls, I get older, they stay the same age. Well, now they're at the Emporium, which is evidently the big hangout for all the teens. So this girl Julie here, who's talking to Pink, she's going to get with Mitch eventually. What's what you say in Woodstock? There's a bunch of people still living in the 70s. It's fun. I bet it is. I mean, I would like to live in an area that was like that. So here's the more of the Kiss statues. So they decide they're going to have a beer bust later. So again, I don't know if this was a 70s thing of when people ask, "Are you cool, man?" Is that, that means do you smoke pot? So maybe you guys, again, they're a little older than me. Maybe you can shed some light on that. They still think there's a party going on at Pickford's house. But evidently not. Oh, and this was the days of 8 tracks, right? Or sorry, I called her Dina. I think that's Siobhan. Sorry. So John says, "Hey, watch me get a little something going right here with Siobhan because she thinks she's mad at me." That's what you say. Usually it was when the acid hit. Now we get transition into Love Hurts, and there's a little party going on at the rec center. And these two guys look really bored. And they're telling Hirschfelder it's time to go. He's making out with some chick. Texas, you said there was always some sort of odd shenanigans in the parking lots at school and whatnot. So it appears that everybody's either meeting up at the Emporium or meeting up at the Top Notch Burger. So Hirschfelder is about to get paddled here. Benny and Old Banyan are going to get him. Oh my goodness, Texas, you said one time this guy tied rubber from some tires on his legs and got dragged around the parking lot by a truck. That does not sound like a fun time to me. I don't know anybody that ever had a whole trunk full of beer. I think Albania needs some anger management. So, guys, it looks like I may lose just about everybody. Um, Again, I'm not sure. Maybe something else is going on, or maybe this movie isn't that interesting to a lot of people, for which I do apologize. So, a lot of people joke that Wiley Wiggins, his character Mitch Kramer, does a lot of like grabbing his nose, like, I just have to do this. And, he does a lot of that. So I don't know if that was a thing that he was told to do or it was just something that he did on his own. So he just did it again. So, guys, I hate to, for all two of you in here, I hate to keep stepping away, but I am going to go. I'm having a little bit of a headache, so I'm going to try to stave it off by getting something right now. I'll be right back. So Mitch is getting his first experience with the joint here, and they're gonna play a little, I guess, a later version of mailbox baseball. If you guys remember from Stand By Me. This is actually probably the least innocent thing that they do in this movie. I always think this is funny because that's obviously not Jason London there. It is there, but that back version when he picked up the trash can was obviously Don's character, because if you look at the sleeves, it looks just like Don's sleeves and not like the outfit Pink has on. So now they're urging Mitch to throw the bowling ball in the back seat, which he does. And you can see this is why I say this is probably the least innocent thing they do in the whole film, busting mailboxes and then busting that window out of that car. But it kind of gets Mitch in good with the guys. So now they're out of beer, and they go through this whole thing, and nobody has any money. And Don basically says he's going to go in there and steal the beer, and he needs the freshman as a lookout. Texas, you say, I kind of used to do that. I mean, I don't know what that is. Yeah, sure you don't, Texas. Cigarettes were 60 cents then. Not that I've ever smoked or had the urge to smoke. No judgment here though if you do smoke. So he told Mitch that he was going to pay for the beer, but now this crazy ass looking dude is pointing a gun at them, and Pickford's like, "Give the beer back, Don." He said, "I paid for the beer, man." And it turns out that I think that really patriotic looking mailbox that they busted was this dude's. So it gets kind of dangerous right here. So Cynthia, Tony, and Mike are really bored. So now they're talking about how President Ford's old football head injuries is affecting the economy. So a lot of people are still hanging out at the Emporium. Playing pinball and foosball and pool and all of those things that I'm sure a lot of you guys remember. I even remember this kind of stuff. So they're gonna Melvin there is gonna send Mitch over to the Centennial across the way and pick up a sixer or a 6-pack of beer. It's almost like they're having a deep discussion about, they want to stop preparing for the future and just have fun now because in the end, everybody's going to die. Oh, this is bad. An obviously pregnant girl is smoking a cigarette and she's got some booze. Not healthy activity right there. So this guy just casually asked me, and she's like, "You're 18, right?" Doesn't even ask for an ID or anything. So Mitch's level of coolness is going to go up here shortly when he gets back to the Emporium. So they're going to figure out a way to get back at O'Banion because, truth be told, some of the others, the older kids, want to get O'Banion too because, as Pink said earlier, O'Banion's a little bit of a joke. So now Julie and her friend just think Mitch is the coolest now because they sold him a 6-pack of beer at the Centennial. So now they're giving Mitch beers. And they're planning a party at the Moon Tower now. And yeah, O'Banion is really a jerk. Sorry, I keep yawning, guys. So they're getting this all set up. Mitch has got this set up with Julie to casually walk by O'Banion and say, "Did you hear they're busting Carl Burnett out back?" So, of course, he wants to go out there and bust the hell out of Carl. So now Dodd's trying to tell Mitch how to get Julie by playing it cool. So Albanian is really taking this all, you know, way, way too freaking far. Blissful, you may be right. I think I'm headed towards food coma city too. You say it's the end of Memorial Day weekend. Everyone is probably in a food coma, and I'm sure they are. Hopefully, everybody will be awake in a little over an hour when Dead Pit does their thing. So now they've dumped a bunch of white paint on O'Banion, who's going to really lose his shit here in a little bit. So Albanian doesn't like anybody, basically, especially at this point. So now he's, losing his shit, breaking his paddle. But that was a way to get rid of him. So Tony's saying, I can't believe I'm doing this. I swear to God, I never come to a top notch. And here I am sorting through jalapeno burgers and soggy fries. And here comes Wooderson with the patented Matthew McConaughey line, all right, all right, all right. And he came up with that line too. Maybe I'll just open this energy drink and see if we can get a little energy pumped into me. I do apologize, guys, if I seem a little out of it and not. I'm trying to say things about the movie here and there, but I'm just starting to just really zone out. I was hoping it would get better. It seems to be getting worse. So everybody's headed to the moon tower now. I always thought that guy back there smoking the bong looked like a little like Elton John. So Mike's going to get in trouble here because he says somebody's token some reefer. This is Nikki Cat here playing Clint. And he's like interrogating Mike about what he just said. He said, someone's token some reefer. And he's really super pissed. And Mike's like, well, it was just an observation. He didn't mean anything by it. So obviously Clint is looking to fight tonight with somebody. To which Pink helps dissolve this fight. And Clint says, I only came here to kick some ass and drink some beer. Looks around, he's like, looks like we're almost out of beer. So now they're climbing up the moon tower. Now, am I wrong, or for those of you that watch that 70s show, isn't there a scene kind of similar? Like maybe, I know it wasn't a moon tower, but I think they climb up the water tower. So now Mike's visibly upset. He's like, I'm going to get that Clint. And he says he's got it all planned out. His theory is most fights in places like this never get past a punch or two because nobody wants to upset the herd. So he's saying to win, he's only got to get one good punch and everything will be groovy. And how many young people have had the same conversations about their own towns? That this place. Look at this town. It's nothing. There's nothing going on. I want to get out of this town. Yada yada yada. Taze, did you say you always forget Nikki Cat is in this? So Sabrina's showing back up to talk to Tony, and the others are going to leave them alone. Here in a little bit, Darla, Parker Posey's character, is going to show up again and try to make Sabrina air raid. Melissa, you say I had to settle a cat dispute. My talking cat was smacking her brother, saying, "No, no." And the guy, I wanted to bring this up. The guy playing Benny there on the left, that's Cole Hauser, which I believe is Wings Hauser's son. Casey, you say I talk about this place like that all the time. I definitely want to get out of here sometime. And I think people even do that on up until they get older. They do that. I always kind of joke that I said I wanted to get out of the country when I was growing up and go to a bigger place, a city. And now that I'm in the city, I want to go back to the country. So yeah, I think that's going to continue to happen throughout the duration of my life. So there, Julie shows back up. Mitch is obviously drunk at this point. So now Benny is talking to Pink about the pledge that Pink is obviously doesn't want to sign. It's not going to sign. I am real sorry, guys. The yawning just continues. And so Pete says, look, man, all I'm saying is if I do play ball next year, it's going to be on my terms and not theirs. To which Benny says, you just remember one thing. It ain't just about you, pal. It's about me, Donnie, Mel. You'd be fucking us over. Thank you, Blissful, for saying it's okay. I just, like I said, I didn't envision myself being so wiped out tonight. And I wanted to be in good form for the 10 o'clock fan commentary, too. And I don't know how exactly I'm going to do. So now they're going to have, soon going to have a conversation about George Washington token weed. Bigford says, do you know what that song's about? It's about aliens. We're the aliens, man. We're the savages. All the conversations that you have when you're high on pot. Oh, thank you, Texas. You say I think you're doing fine, Dana. Oh, man, I just really feel so fuzzy headed. And I think part of it is the fact that was starting to have a panic attack earlier in the day, and I took just one of my anxiety pills, and they've upped my dose on those, and so those things make me really, really sleepy. But so you say I don't talk, I'm usually panicking. Well, that's not good either. We don't want anybody to panic, which is what I was starting to do earlier, hence, taking the anxiety medicine. Now they're talking about George Washington token weed. I think that's just funny. And they even talk about Martha Washington. And George will come home and she'd have a big fat bowl waiting for him. So Jody and Pink seem to be getting it on here, but Pink has a girlfriend, Simone. I just think it's funny that Jody was really coming on to him hot and heavy a few seconds ago, and then she's like, "Don't you have a girlfriend?" And he says, "What girlfriend?" She says, "What's her name? Simone." Then Slayer starts talking about there's some spooky stuff going on a dollar bill, and it's green. So now they're gonna joke around with Mitch, and they're gonna make him come over there. This is a kind of funny scene too. So Mitch finally relents and he said, "Shit, I should go," and he tells her he'll be back. They're calling him a little Casanova, saying he's got a shit-eating grin. And there's like, not bad for a little freshman, but you better watch out for them older girls. And then Mel kind of takes him inside and says, "Are you going to be fucking that later?" or are you going to be a little wimp? And he's like, how do you know I haven't already? To which they just erupt in laughter. And they say, run along, I think it's past your bedtime. And Pink tells him to, get a ride with her, tell her that we left you. Oh, Darla's very, very drunk. So now she's got her sights set on Sabrina, and she's like air raid freshman. And Tony says, come on, Darla, leave her alone. And she's not having any of it. She's going to give Sabrina a count to 5 to air raid. So then she doesn't do it, and Darla says, I'm going to make the next year of your life a living hell. Mike comes over and says a few things and goes away. I'm not so sure that Mike isn't under the influence of something else besides alcohol. Oh boy. So he goes and pours the rest of his beer all over Clint, then punches him. But nobody's coming to his aid right now, which is what he thought was going to happen. So now Clint is going to beat the shit out of him. And so now everybody's coming over. So I think at this point, Clint doesn't care if he kills Mike. So Pink and Wooderson are breaking the fight up. Tony's getting Mike. This kind of at this point breaks up the party. So they're out of beer. So everybody's, a lot of people are pretty drunk, sick, hungover. Cynthia is giving her phone number to Wooderson. So I guess Cynthia's planning on going to see Aerosmith with Wooderson. So that gang is all going to go get breakfast. So Jody left his ass pretty much, but Simone, there's Simone and Slater, Pickford, and his girlfriend. So they're all gonna break into a group there. As well as Dawn and Siobhan. So now they're out on the football field, kind of just playing around. And guys, we're getting close to this movie being over, so I'm going to go ahead and take another bathroom break because I've been aggressively drinking caffeine to try to stay awake. And of course, you know what happens when you drink all of that liquid, so I will be right back. All right. Reg. Thanks a lot, buddy. Shh. Sammy. Sammy. Apologies, guys, for all the noise there. The dogs decided they wanted to go out. So this is you know, a little bit of self-reflection on the kids' part. They do have one more year of high school left in which they will be seniors. Um, so I think it's also one of those times where they're kind of thinking, you know, where do I go from here? What do I, you know, what does the future hold for me? So now the cops have showed up. Because evidently you're not supposed to be on the high school football field when a game's not going on, right? And again, they're telling Slater to get rid of the pot. And meanwhile, Mitch is, you know, making out with Julie. What I want to know is how all these high schoolers have these cool ass cars. That's something I've wondered about. So now their coach is here, in addition to the cops being there a little earlier. So the coach is going to ask Randy again about his commitment to his team, wanting him to sign that paperwork. So Randy's had enough, or Pink's had enough at this point. He says, I got to get going. Me and my loser friends, we got to get Aerosmith tickets, top priority of the summer. And he says, oh, you know, by the way, I forgot. I might play ball, but I will never sign that. And he throws the piece of paper at the coach. So Wooderson says, shit, I'm getting my third win. Let's get on the road. So they're going to go get the Aerosmith tickets. So I don't think Dawn and Siobhan are going to go with them, but I guess they're going to go back home or do something else. The rest of the gang is going to join Wooderson and they're going to go get Aerosmith tickets. Meanwhile, Mitch is creeping and crawling back home, trying to get in the house before his mom discovers. Oh man, but she already knows. And she's pretty cool about it. She says, this is your one get out of jail free card. Hope you enjoyed it. Because his sister told her everything. So she's going to be open minded. But next time you come in at sunrise, we've got problems. And then she wants to know who the older girl is that gave him a ride. And he's kind of giving her broken answers to everything. She says, "Have you been drinking? Are you drunk?" And he kind of laughs it off. And she leaves. This scene, too, although he's not nearly as wiped out as William's character on Almost Famous, but it almost reminds me of when William comes home near the end of Almost Famous from being out on the road for so long. Yeah, Texas is so ridiculous. The coach is not his father, exactly. So now we're getting treated to the song Slow Ride by Foghat. And the movie is getting ready to end, guys. It ends on a pretty, happy note. And then we're going to get the fade out to showing the main cast. Here as the credits roll. There's Jason London, Joey Lauren Adams, Mila Jovovich, Sean Andrews. I said Sean Phillips. Sean Andrews, I mean. Rory Cochrane, Adam Goldberg, Anthony Rapp, and Sasha Jensen, Marissa Ribisi, Dina Martin, and Michelle Burke, Cole Hauser, Christine Harnos, there's Wiley Wiggins, Mark Vandermeulen, Esteban Powell. Some of these names I'm not too sure on. Jeremy Fox, Ben Affleck there, Jason O. Smith, Christina Hinojosa, Parker Posey, Matthew McConaughey, Catherine Morris, there's Nikki Katt, and now we're to the main credit roll. Bless you say, end of tours are so much fun, so no one ever. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little foray into Dazed and Confused. If there's any of you that were watching it tonight that this is your first time watch, I really hope you enjoyed it. This has always been a really fun movie for me. It hit me, when I was rewatching this recently, when I got it on 4K, that I was like, damn, 1993 is when this came out. Man, I'm becoming an old woman faster than I can comprehend. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope a lot of you are able to hop on over to Dead Pit at 10 p.m. Eastern time for, I know I've advertised the hell out of this, but this has been a long time coming and I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully I can drink a little more caffeine and get a little more awake for this one because I'm honestly really looking forward to it. Texas, you say, when I would go out, my mom just always wanted me to call if I was going to stay at someone's house or go anywhere else. There was one time I called and the next morning I got home. Yep. Liz, will you say it's a good movie to kick off summer too? Exactly. That was my thought. Texas, you say, and she said I was grounded. My stepfather said that I called and she answered, but she was too asleep. Oh, man. But they're parents. They can get away with a lot more than we can at the time. So if you're looking at the credits, you'll see a lot of great songs here. Sweet Emotion, Highway Star, School's Out, Jim Dandy, Why Can't We Be Friends, Stranglehold, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Free Ride, Do You Feel Like We Do, Lowrider, Hurricane, I Just Want to Make Love to You, Love Hurts, Paranoid, There's Never Been Any Reason, Fox on the Run, Tush, Slow Ride, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, Show Me the Way, Lord Have Mercy on My Soul, Balinese, Rock and Roll All Night, Right Place, Wrong Time, Living in the USA, Cherry Bomb, Hey Baby, Summer Breeze, and Tuesday's Gone. So, a lot of great songs. This was yet again filmed on location in Austin, Texas. So, guys and gals, we have finally reached the end of the credit sequence of Dazed and Confused. Again, I hope you guys had a great time. Normally, I would stay on here a little bit longer, but I'm going to give myself about 30 minutes to get composed before I head on over for, yet again, I'm going to advertise it, the fan commentary that the Dead Pit Boys are doing for prom night. This is the original prom night, not that terrible remake, by the way. It's sure to be a good time over there on the old Dead Pit channel. So I hope you guys will join all of us. And again, thank you guys that stayed in here for the duration of the Dazed and Confused watch along. Don't know if I'll be doing anything tomorrow because honestly, I have had such a busy weekend. It's been chock full of watch alongs and whatnot. And but I've had a great time. And keep your eyes and ears open for anything that might be upcoming with me. Good night, Darren. Good night, Texas. Good night, Blissful 71. If you're still in here, good night to you as well. Anybody else that's still watching, have a great night. Hope you can stop on over on the Dead Pit channel a little bit later in about 30 minutes. And on that note, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here, not for the night, but for a little bit. And I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night if I don't see you a little bit later. So long.